So this is A and B camera. Let's see. A and B camera, this is Mike sketching and talking about traveling. Okay, Mike.
I like to draw and sketch, and if you look around the house, you'll see some sketches I've done of family members. I don't claim to be any good, but I did get some pleasure doing it. And after a few years after the war, I left the Navy, although I stayed active in the reserves until I retired from the reserves. And I became an airline pilot, and so all this stuff you see behind me is travel logs and so forth that we family has been able to pick up on our travels around. And I'm one of the lucky ones, I always say. After all these years, I'm still here, still healthy, have a nice family, and we enjoyed traveling because of my airline benefits a great deal.
Wonderful. And go ahead and just start sketching. And you went to the Naval Academy, is that correct, sir?
Yes, I did.
Can you incorporate that into your answer so that you attended the U.S. Naval Academy? What year?
I went to the Naval Academy and graduated in 1963. And it was quite an experience, and I got a good education. It wasn't the most fun thing in the world. I can't really compare conditions that midshipmen live in then and now because I'm not really fully briefed on all the details of the way life is there now. But it was a very positive experience overall because of the friends I made. And the friends I have today are the friends I made at the Naval Academy and the friends that were my fellow prisoners in Hanoi. Those are the two closest groups of friends that I have.
Beautiful. And what would your advice be to a young midshipman today if you had to reflect back over your own experience in life? What kinds of things would you wish someone had said to you?
Well, I had a good experience at the academy, so I don't think I missed anything. The only thing I can say is it's probably not as much fun as you hoped it would be, but you're getting a great education and it will stand you in good stead for the rest of your life.
Beautiful. And what does honor mean to you, sir?
Honor means doing what you're supposed to do. And in my case, one of the aspects of that was the code of conduct. And all of us who were prisoners tried our best to follow that code of conduct, which was doing what you're supposed to do. And I would say one thing about that. By the time I was captured in 1967, it was pretty clear that our government was not really clear on how they were going to win the war. Many of us had doubts about whether the effort was worthwhile and how it would turn out. But once you become a prisoner, your option to speak about that is finished. What you have to do is support our government, follow the code of conduct to the best of your ability. And that's hard enough when you're under pressure from the enemy, and maybe made a little bit harder because of your own doubts about the wisdom and possibilities of success of the effort that you're involved in.
And when was the first time you heard the words return with honor, and what did they mean to you?
The return with honor discussion really began in the winter of 1968. The first time one or two prisoners were released under what, in our opinion, seemed to be less than honorable conditions. And we, the main group of us, still believe that the men involved in that didn't really do their duty. They convinced themselves that what they were doing was the right thing to do, but it really, in our view, was not. And that event began a discussion of return with honor, that we have to hang together and not campaign for early release and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. Returning with honor meant returning all together with our heads held high.
And when you got back to the States, were there times, either like in the dinner at the Nixon Library or anything like that, where you thought to yourself, we are joined in this, where those words came back to you?
Well, not just in that way. We all know, I'm not sure everybody would agree with what I've just said, but we all have this general feeling, okay, we did what we were supposed to do. We did the best we could. So a handful of people failed or didn't measure up in our view, and it's not talked about. That's just what everybody knows.
Okay. And you go ahead and just start sketching again, and I'm going to switch camera positions so that I can catch your hands on the side. And what can you say about the cup, the Richard Nixon Library cup that you have, POW?
Well, it was a very nice reunion, and as at all these reunions, there are some favors that are handed out. So this one is a commemoration of that event some years ago, and I still have it and I still use it. It's pretty nice.
And what is it you enjoy about sketching, sir?
Well, it's just something different. I never had any training in art or any background in it, but one of my friends in Hanoi was Mike McGrath, who had some training in art. And near the end of the war, when we had a little bit better conditions and we had these big sheets of pretty rough paper that were supposed to be ripped up into small pieces and used as toilet paper, we had some ability to draw using charcoal and various things like that. We didn't really have any pens or pencils, but he was kind enough to give me some lessons in drawing, and I drew some portraits of some of the other prisoners in the room with us. And by this time, it's late in the war. We're in a larger cell with about 50 individuals in it. And one day the Vietnamese came in on a room inspection and found the pictures and took them and destroyed them. So, but that was the beginning of my experience in sketching, and I've followed up with that a little bit using some of the things that Mike taught me and a few other things that I've learned along the way.